The movie you're making me watch today is Seven Samurai. Seven Samurais? I guess samurai is it itself,
Just Seven
plural.
Samurai. Yep.
It's like deer or moose
Yep.
or Schwartz. Like, how
Moose.
many Schwartz are there? There's 7 Schwartz. It's not like you
It's a
say
moose deer
Schwartz's.
situation.
It is a moose deer situation, but not that moose deer situation.
Different situation.
Seven Samurai. Jake, you know the original title of this in Japanese. Go for it.
Seven Samurai.
What's your word? That's perfect translation, by the way.
Thank you. My word is Shakespearean. Oh, bad.
Okay. My word is, I'm going to say it's a boring one, but it's the truest one, and I can think of it was influential.
Yeah. I wrote inspirational, which I think goes along the same way. But I got other words. You want to hear my other words? My other words are anticlimactic. I know. We can argue about that one, but
like the whole second half was the climax.
Long was my original word. Like,
that's definitely true.
15 minutes in, it's just long.
And then 3 hours and 10 minutes later, you're like, damn, this is still on.
Still long. A lot. I think probably the best word I have since Schwartz took inspirational or influential is a lot. It's a lot. That's not necessarily negative.
Yeah, that makes sense. One of my other words would have been thorough,
Yeah.
which is kind of similar in a way, which I think we're thinking of the same thing, at least with like it was a lot. Like there was a lot to this fucking movie.
A lot.
But it was very thorough with like the stories and like interweaving different plots and different all the people. Like I think that was the biggest part.
What was interwoven?
Just
what do you mean by that?
Town.
Like there was no, like when you say interweaving plots, it makes me think of like Tarantino-esque, where like you're over here and then you're over here and they have nothing to do with each other and then they come together and then they're do like, I mean,
yeah, that maybe not as much as like in that sense, but like
I'm
all
just
the
thinking
maybe there's like the different characters and like there's the two different like settings. There's like the not the settings, but the two different like sides of being like the samurai, and then there's the townsfolk, and then there's the bandits themselves. The bandits themselves were minor characters. There weren't really like specific people that really were characters necessarily. They're kind of just the bandits. But you got all different characters all kind of coming together. All their characteristics and what have you are all kind of like added to the plot in their own ways.
Schwartz.
Yeah. I like this movie. This movie was a good movie. It told a good story.
This movie was
all
good.
Right. And thanks for listening to Making Me Watch Movies.
Well, let me elaborate a little bit. You're just making fun of me for no reason. I haven't elaborated yet.
Go ahead.
I think this movie is about standing up for people that don't have things they need, even if it's not going to benefit you. That's the meaning of this movie. And I think making a movie about that, they did a very good job.
Yeah, certainly. The message was certainly selflessness.
I agree.
Yeah. The cinematography.
And that's why I called it inspirational, and it may be why you called it influential, because not only was it inspirational, obvious inspiration for so many movies from so many movies, but it's also an inspirational story. So inspirational, influential, it works. That's
I think the cinematography, specifically the framing and the camera movement, was pretty amazing too. That Jetchu was pretty. It edited together really well. Like every shot was pretty cohesive, especially because there were so many characters talking about so much different shit. Like one thing it didn't do is ever lose me as far as like I didn't know what was going on. There were a lot of things going on, but I always knew what was going on, and that was good.
Yeah, you always knew where you were.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't
and this movie spanned a while. It was a year from when they first met them to when they fought. It was a whole year.
Was it?
Yeah.
I realized that.
I didn't realize that either until I watched a video about it, and it showed the changing of the seasons, and it even showed one of the scenes that was an aerial shot where like it changed a little bit, and I was like, oh, I didn't pick up on that, but it's true. It's a fact.
It's true. I mean, all right, I guess I believe you.
Because I did read that like it took literally a full year to shoot this film.
So I can see that.
I'm a part of it. Yeah, this was the most expensive
we need
film in
this
Japanese
scene in
history
the
at the
snow.
time. Yeah, exactly.
This is the
Pretty
thing.
much.
Kurosawa was at this point one of the most well-renowned filmmakers in the world. This is like him at his like biggest moment. You know what I mean? So that dude could do whatever he wanted. He was like Kubrick or
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly why I like one of the reasons why I picked it, because it was such a well-known movie for, especially for like film buffs. This is like essentially like the Japanese Citizen Kane, if you will. Like this is this is considered one of the best. Like I know it's
JCK,
considered like
bro?
the best samurai. Oh yeah, this is like considered like the best samurai film that I've from many of my research, and considered the best Kurosawa movie. Because Kurosawa didn't strictly make samurai movies, but like majority of his films, I would say, were samurai films. Like a lot, majority.
Is 13
This was the first one.
Assassins just the exact same movie or no?
I was thinking that it's almost the same storyline,
Yeah.
other than they weren't bandits. They were just kind of getting revenge on
On kinky people.
the weird ruler. But yeah, essentially it's the same story of
It's
them.
the
Like,
exact same movie.
at least the first half is like them recruiting the samurais, and especially like the last samurai guy, like the goofy guy, I think he's like Kiichuo or something like that. Probably not pronouncing that well at all.
Kiko Chio.
That guy.
Kiko Chio.
Who's played by another name I won't be able to pronounce, but that guy is in like a lot of Kurosawa movies.
That guy's awesome. He's my favorite.
Yeah, that guy's
character.
great. He was extremely
That and
fun to
like
watch.
the
He's a great
village
actor.
elder. Just like
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, guys? What the
Oh, yeah,
fuck's
that guy's
going
good too.
on?
But yeah, it reminded me of the last goofy the last assassin that they recruited, 13 Assassins, like very similar like goofiness. And I'm sure 13 Assassins took from Seven Samurai a lot, but
I mean, it'd be hard pressed if the director of 13 Assassin had never seen Seven Samurai.
oh yeah. Well, the 13 Assassins we saw was a remake of a different 13 Assassins as well. So there was another 13 Assassins made. Let me check what year that. That's 63. So it was still after Seven Samurai here. But yeah, I clearly took from
Seven Samurai was
the same like tropes.
1538.
Yeah, I mean, this is like set the foundation for like a lot of samurai films. Like a lot of them have the same storyline, which is like it's cool because it was like that they showed a lot of what happened, like with all over the place, all the characters, all these different stories. But like overall, it was a simple story. Like just bandits attack a village hires samurais, and then kind of what happens, what's the building of the relationship with the town and the samurais, I think was like the biggest part of the story. But I mean, even the first half I thought was really fun because it was the recruiting of the samurais I enjoyed probably the most. But everything was good. I mean, the battles were great. I enjoyed this movie overall. I'm glad it had an intermission because that helped break it up a little bit.
I read that all Seven Samurai were based off of actual samurai that they researched.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I like the master swordsmith guy, the one like he fought the dude with bamboo,
and
then the guy was like, nah, dude, we're gonna do the real thing, and he was like, no, because if we do, you die, and then he died.
Hey Jake, well, you actually basically just did explain it about. I would say what's the plot, but the plot is what you just said. You just said it.
Plot is 13 samurais. No, 13 Assassins.
But like Jake
said,
samurais, yeah. Like Jake said, this is the thing. Back then, even like in those times, in the 100 years before, even like 100 years after, most movies are about that because that's what was really going on. People were trying to take over other people and kill them, and people were trying to survive. So there's not many other stories really. I mean, you can make up something totally different, but this is probably just like based on things people have said and heard and things that are like factual. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, that era of Japan lasted for such a long
time. That's what I'm saying. That was what was going on.
Yep.
True.
Wild stuff, man. That shit was Like,
What was this,
what a
like
fuck-
the
what a-
seventh movie ever made?
This was the
No, but I'm talking
27th.
about the time that it's talking about in the
Yeah.
in reality. The
It was
time
like the
period
Great
is what
Train
was going on
Robbery,
in
and then this.
Japan.
Yeah. So there was Citizen Kane, and what was the other one?
Was Citizen Kane older than this?
This is
Citizen Kane-
56.
Yeah, this was 54.
54, okay.
54. Yeah.
When was Citizen Kane?
Yeah. Citizen Kane's 41, and then we've also watched
Jesus Christ.
Sunset Boulevard. This is this is the third oldest movie we've seen.
Okay.
It's not even the oldest movie we've seen.
Jesus, this is
Definitely the
a
longest.
mid-age movie.
Definitely the longest we've seen. Oh yeah.
This is the thing about this
Yeah,
movie.
dude, we could watch
You know what the-
UHF and CB4 and still be under 3 hours and 27 minutes.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'd have some time to kill. I mean, I didn't really mind the length. I think I was fairly
That's what she
invested the
said.
whole time. I was fairly interested the whole time, and
What-
it kept it going. Like, I think, like you were saying with the camera work, how there was always like movement going on. They kept it interesting. There was always a going pace. It was always moving forward.
I like that it was telling different points of view of the kind of the same story. Like everyone was trying to get redemption by helping somebody, and they're all doing it for different reasons. And that might be one of the first times that what I read was this is the first time people consider like having like an action hero type of movie, like a plot of people trying to like stop them at all costs type of thing. Like there hadn't been like an action hero type movie until this. And George Lucas based Star Wars like directly off this movie too. Like
A lot
can
of
read all
Star
about that.
Wars. You can see
Well,
a
I
lot of
heard-
Star Wars
yeah.
in this.
I guess there's another movie called Hidden Fortress, which came out a few years after this, was like more along the lines of the Star Wars plot, and a big influence there.
Yeah. Well, George Lucas, I don't know about the plot wise, but George Lucas has always said this was one of his favorite movies ever.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's fucking epic.
Whether or not, I mean, yeah, just the look of it too is very, there's wipes. Like did he get the wipes from
Right.
Seven Samurai? The clock wipes and shit.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Anyway, I don't know. It was boring though.
I didn't really find it boring, but I know what you mean.
It was boring in that. Yeah, I didn't think it was boring, but I do. But you, what do you mean? You know what I mean? There was a lot of hang time in between everything. There was a lot of looking back and forth. There was a lot of just staring at each other. There's a lot of the old man. Whenever they talk to the old man, it would just show the old man for 5 minutes, whether he's walking across the whole goddamn village or he's just sitting in there while everyone kind of files in his tent. You cut all those out, you cut an hour out of this movie
They hung on some stuff,
and
yeah.
have the same scenes and have all the same scenes. Just cut out the hang time, cut out that dead air.
Yeah.
Or
I see what you
not.
mean.
Dude, when they're pointing at the map, they point at the map for like 35 minutes. And it's just fingers on a map. And
See,
it's
I
just
like
east.
that. I like that because we got like a good idea of like the lay of the land. It, like, painted the picture well because you're literally looking at a picture of where they are. Like, I thought that you had like a better reference point.
Yeah, they didn't have drone shots back then.
Yeah, you were just more. I don't know.
Or like montages.
Maybe-
This movie was made before montages.
I guess that's true. This movie could have been a montage, I guess.
There
but-
could have been a lot of montage in this movie. Getting ready
I just like how they
montage,
peeled it away.
like prepping, looking at the map montage, training the villagers montage. It's 3 montages right there. That's an hour out of the movie.
You should edit a fucking Seven Samurai
Just
montage. You should re-edit and make it like a 2-hour movie, and it'd be like,
About the movie that
that
I
was-
realized.
shit, that was way better.
Just have a lot of
This is the thing I
montages.
realized about
Add a
this-
bunch of sick music over the montages. The sound design in it was not good either. Like, I was watching it sound wise, it's like, and I know it's 1954 and it's in Japan, but come on.
Right. Yeah, like Past the Glory had a way better sound design, and that was only like 3 years later. So yeah, you have a good point there. I've noticed that in his other movies, they're all slightly like not like out of sync, but there's a little
I don't mean to get
left to be desired.
nitpicky. Exactly. There's a little left.
No,
to
I
be
felt the
desired.
same when I watched Throne of Blood. I watched that a few weeks ago. And that's another
Blood.
that's another AKIRA KUROSAWA movie that of Macbeth, the Hamlet play.
Oh.
So it's a pretty good movie, but it was just like it was the same deal. Like I was immediately thrown off by like some of the sound. How like I wish they had like the fucking swords, you know, like when the typical like shing, like when someone pulls out a blade, like they don't have that. Like that's missing in Kurosawa movies for some reason.
Just walking
like,
in the mud is missing. You know,
right. Yeah.
That sounded perfect. What I just did. You could have done that, Kurosawa. Come on. I mean, that's not what his movie's about. The camera work probably in 54 was pretty revolutionary, right?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
Yeah.
The setting has probably a lot to, I always think has a lot to do with it. You set, you know, something in Hawaii and it's gonna look beautiful. And just where they were up against the giant mountains and in the jungle, it was beautiful setting all around. So that doesn't hurt. And it's just a cool, like, what is it? Like feudal age Japan? A cool time that I'm not exposed to a whole lot in movies. So that's cool. And it is just ridiculous how much it reminded me of Star Wars. Pretty sure there's an episode of Mandalorian that is exactly this story, where they like villagers go find the Mandalorians and as mercs and come and save them from the bandits. They flood like they flood a rice paddy and shit. Like I'm pretty sure it's the exact same movie.
Yeah, I mean it's a simple story. Like it's a story you can tell in a lot of different settings that can be like portrayed as different things. Like, you know, swap out some characters. It's an easy one. It's an easy story, but it's an old story.
Why is it Shakespearean? What Shakespeare play is this?
This one wasn't directly based off of a Shakespeare play, from as far as I know. But what I thought was Shakespearean about it was like it was essentially a tragedy. Like majority of the characters at the end of this movie were fucking dead. Most of them died. And that's how most Shakespeare tragedies end, is that most of the characters just end up dead, including most of the main characters. Like I think everyone's favorite character was Kiki Chewy or something. Yeah, that guy. I think everyone's favorite character was that, and his death was tragic. Like that was a good scene. And
that guy was great.
You grew to love him throughout the movie. That guy was, what I thought was funny about that guy is his ass was just always hanging out. Like he's just running around, no pants.
Especially at the end, just butt ass and dick's hanging out and everything.
Yeah.
Running down the mountain. The scene where he had all the swords he was like lining up the swords and he was like, "What are you doing with those?" He's like, "I can't kill all these motherfuckers with one sword." That is in 13 Samurai. Remember when he like set up a bunch of swords in like a hallway, and then when they came, or 13 Assassins.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure I know we watched a movie where that happened.
Yeah. No, that was definitely 13. Well, they had a bunch of fucking swords set up all over the village just so they could grab them and fucking shank them. 13 Assassins. The stakes were way higher because that was 13 versus what, like 200 something.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but yeah, I know what you mean. That was that did
the sword scene.
They took definitely.
I'm not talking
13
shit.
Samurai.
I just can't.
I see what you mean.
They pulled it. They
13
pulled
Samurai,
it off
100%. 13 Assassins 100% stole a lot from 7 Samurai, for sure.
Stole, borrowed,
whatever. Inspired by, influenced from,
raped.
Spin it how you will. But that's I don't know. That's but anyway, why I was gonna say Shakespearean was because of those reasons. It was a tragedy. It was a big story, like very like thorough, very like intricate storytelling, a lot of characters. These are all just like qualities of like Shakespearean plays.
Okay. I haven't seen enough Shakespeare to disagree with you.
There's forbidden love going on, even like there was like almost like a little
I forgot about that because I didn't give a fuck about that.
All right.
I mean,
I did write down in my notes, Return of the King vibe, because I think at one point I'm like, is this the end? Oh no! Oh wait, is this the end? Oh no! Okay, there was a couple times where that happened, but still liked it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I was about an hour and 10 minutes into this movie when I realized this is a samurai movie where there ain't going to be a lot of samurai going on. The first 2 hours and 40 minutes of it is pretty much people talking to people about what they're going to do. And the last hour of it is them doing it. That's what this movie was.
Yeah. I think I would have to say I would prefer to watch like some Takashi Miike samurai films over Kurosawa, just because there's more action and they're like a lot more fun and crazy.
Well, this is the thing.
But,
this is a samurai movie made by someone who never made a samurai movie. He was like a really good filmmaker, and it's not what like they like he based like even like Tarantino based Kill Bill after. Like Kill Bill's based after like you said like a Takashi Miike one or like a violent one. This isn't that. Like Kill Bill is the type of samurai movie I want to watch. You know, it made me this. I thought about like how much I love Kill Bill. This movie actually wow, Kill Bill's a great movie.
Isn't Rashomon a samurai film?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was before this.
Well, no, it's not really.
Say,
Well, no,
how
it's
many
he's
samurai
a mercenary.
films are
I think he's a
before?
mercenary. Actually, I don't think he's a samurai.
I
Well,
think
I think samurais are kind of mercs. That's what they were doing. They were hiring them to come and fight the bandos.
Yeah, that's what a Mandalorian is. He's just a samurai.
True. I mean, you watch Mandalorian, you definitely get some Seven Samurai vibes, Kurosawa vibes.
Especially the Dave Filoni episode when you shop and then
Yeah.
to the fucking.
Well, that looked like
town
an episode of Rebels.
Kick ass.
That was so good.
That was my favorite. That's the best episode of the entire series,
Debatable.
in my opinion.
So, reasons why this is like MacGruber. I loved how they were kind of going. He was going and assembling the troops. Right?
Oh yeah,
like in the beginning.
That's true. That's
like
true.
first 10
MacGruber,
minutes of MacGruber may as well be Seven Samurai. Why MacGruber wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Seven Samurai. Most of them die.
I think MacGruber's heavily influenced by this film. I think it's just easy. That's it.
It's obvious.
Obviously, basically the same movie.
What else?
What else?
Yeah,
I like the Morgan Freeman like character, like the lead samurai guy reminded me a lot of Morgan Freeman.
That's just racist.
I don't know why. He just had like a leadership vibe to him.
Okay.
So when you think leadership, you think Morgan Freeman.
Like just like a older, wiser, like mellow dude. That was just cool. It was a cool guy.
Is that other than Kikachiyu? Is he your favorite? Was he your favorite samurai?
I like the leader
because he was the Freeman-esque character.
Yeah, he was the one preaching like selflessness, and he's one of the few that survived at the end, so he knew what was up.
Mm-hmm. He's like, I don't know how many yards of shit Eddie Dufresne walked through.
Exactly.
But we beat all 33 of the bandits.
Still made it out. Still made it out alive.
Zewatanejo. He's also God.
Exactly, dude. That's why. That guy was basically like a god.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Not a single time during this movie did I ever think of Morgan Freeman. I wish I did.
Morgan Freeman.
I love Morgan Freeman. I've borderline seen almost all his movies. Name a Morgan Freeman movie you think I haven't seen. Some of All Fears, seen it. Drive Miss Daisy.
Like he reminded me of like Morgan Freeman in Seven, like how he was already like kind of at the end of his career. He's like, I gotta do it. Just gotta get this shit done.
You think Seven was inspired by Seven
Namesake? Namesake, at least. I don't know. I'd have to think about it and break it down.
Finch, why don't you come on our podcast and talk about
Seven's
related to Seven Samurai?
instead of tracking down like 7 samurais, they're tracking down 7 different murders. And
Word. There you go.
trying to protect the
Connect that
city,
shit.
trying to protect the city, the mystery city that they're in, from this serial killer. So essentially,
and all the girls, they're
Morgan
cutting their hair
Freeman
and shit.
is that guy, and Brad Pitt's like the sidekick dude.
How creepy was the dude that cut his daughter's hair?
Yo, how about when you cut the hair, but you still look just like a girl anyway? Like you
Yeah.
should have shaved it off, like your
Well,
style. So
if it was,
Fool no one.
yeah, I guess he didn't shave it, and he did it with a razor blade too. Get out of here!
I know, psychopath.
Where's the scissors in the 15th century?
He was punched her in the face too.
16th century.
15th.
15. No, because it was the 1500s.
Duh.
So that's the 16th century.
Whatever. Tomatoes, tomatoes.
Let me ask Ray. Ray.
16.
Ray says 16.
Hey, Ray's getting into some things where he's going to be in advertising.
I think Ray is gonna wake up Jillian and piss her off.
Shut up, Ray.
Who cares? Oh, shit, Ray.
Shout out to the big cat.
What was your favorite scene?
Actually, my favorite scene was the end shot where it showed the Greys with the swords on top of them. That was the coolest thing in the whole movie.
Oh yeah, you sent that to me and spoiled the whole movie for me.
I did not spoil the movie.
Kind of spoiled the movie.
Don't be a baby back there.
Everyone's dead. All right.
Kind of told me that they died.
So you didn't think the samurai were gonna die, or at least a couple of them, and get buried? That's not realistic to think.
Nope. I had no thoughts. In fact,
Well, then you are
never seen this movie.
MMwM.
Didn't know what it was about.
Dummy.
Yeah, I know.
You decided.
You a dummy.
You decided to.
MMwM. You a dummy. You a dummy.
You a movie
Anyway.
spoiler.
Yeah.
You like movies so much, you spoil them.
Spoiler alert.
You can't
Spoiler
hold
alert.
it in yourself. You can't hold it in. You
I'm a
just can't
premature
hold
ejaculator.
it in. You can't hold it in. You gotta tell everybody. What
I
happened?
texted your mom. She said she's seen it.
She hates samurai movies.
No. Just what she says to you.
It's inspired me to watch more samurai movies. I want to keep watching more samurai movies.
Yeah, what's
I
the
wanna
next
watch
samurai
bloody
movie you're gonna
samurai
watch,
movies.
Jake?
I want to watch some samurai movies where they're cutting off people's arms and shit.
You should watch. Have you seen? It's the Takashi Miike film. It's something about like the hidden blade. I'll pull it up.
The hidden blade in the arm,
but
slicing
the one.
knife.
I'm kind of curious to watch the one that supposedly inspired Star Wars. Was the Hidden Fortress? I might watch.
Yeah, I heard that one sucked.
Well, who'd you hear that from?
I just read it on Instagram.
Read it on Instagram. Who's Instagram?
Kurosawa fans only. You gotta be accepted.
You wouldn't like it. You wouldn't like it.
Oh, they're just like that one's no good.
They were like, "Don't watch this one." I was like, "Okay." And they're like, "You know what? Don't watch Seven Samurai either." I was like, "But I already did." And they're like, "Isn't it ironic?"
told you shouldn't have done it.
Shouldn't have done that. Just the boy.
Was there?
So
How did they shoot a lot of these scenes in 54? Is there such thing as a handheld camera in 54?
I think that was all dolly track. Even
like the spinning around the whole situation.
Yeah, because sometimes I could see the camera like going like this. So I think they were just like pulling and pushing.
And then
what they were on
pulling track or
just a good track.
Well, they had like the heads that moved, like the it's the Fisher dolly type shit. So I think it was just those things on a track so the heads can move too.
Yeah, there was one scene where it circled the whole group.
So I think it was a circle.
How did
track.
it do
I know
that?
what you're talking about. It was like kind of high over him, and it was kind of high over him. That's when you could see it going like this.
But you can't see the track. I don't know. I don't know how movies
Dude,
work.
it's called movie magic. Look it up.
They just green screened it out.
Skateboard.
They did something.
They used a
They sat on
skateboard
top of it.
Yeah, it
in
was pushed to-
54.
Pushed to do it on the skateboard.
But from Back to the Future, I know that those skateboards were shitty in 55. So what were they in 54?
Better. But these are these are Japanese.
Japanese skateboards. They're probably bamboo wheels, dude.
He goes better.
Yeah, it's better because they're Japanese, dude. Trust me.
Whatever. This movie was okay. That's what I gave it. An okay rating.
Anthony,
Okay,
you know what I thought about while I was watching this movie? It's something you said a few movies back, which I actually think is
so
the
it was
smartest thing
probably
you said
genius.
on this podcast. This is the thing you said in this podcast. I think
Go ahead.
you said when we watch movies that are people that we admire, it's not the same because it's a different era. I think this falls under that category.
Yes. Oh, I agree. Because I said it. Because everyone says this is their favorite fucking director. Scorsese, Tarantino. I mean, Tarantino is one of them.
Coppola,
Coppola,
Spielberg.
But
fucking Nick Cage.
like I just said, I'd rather watch a Takashi Miike film.
Attack
And
of
I'm
the
sure
Clones.
fucking Miike loved this dude.
But it's just we're not 100 years old, so when we watched it, we weren't like, "Whoa!" Like it'd be sick. There's some movies that do that. Sixth Sense did that for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like,
Mhm.
"Whoa!"
I was thinking we got to do a Shyamalan. We should do a Shyamalan.
Ooh,
Mm.
I don't know what I haven't seen.
Jake hasn't seen a few.
I've seen them all.
So,
Unfortunately.
but speaking of Scorsese, which is why I
Yes.
brought him up. I remember the scene in this movie where they're like peeking in the girls, and the girls are like, and they're waiting for the bandits to storm the girls, and the girls are gonna run out, and then
Yeah.
the bandits followed them, and then they killed the bandits.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Pretty sure there was like whatever it was like. There was like a drum beat going, boom, boom, and then there was like this whistle kind of blowing in the background. And I'm pretty sure in Gangs of New York, there's right before the very first fight, in the very beginning with Ewan McGregor, right?
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson, who's Ewan McGregor? Oh yeah,
Eason's.
that he's Qui-Gon to Obi-Wan, Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah.
That anyway, same sound, same drum beat, and then I couldn't think of Scorsese
Oh yeah.
being like Kurosawa is the greatest director of all time.
Oh yeah.
Look it up, Google
I
it,
see that.
Google
I see
it,
I know what you're talking about. I can picture it.
Google it.
That Dutch angle of the outside, and then he slams open the door and shit.
You know what made Gangs of New York a better movie? The use of montages to pass the time.
Yeah, that was a long ass movie.
But what if it was an hour longer?
Oh,
Because Gangs of New York's probably only like 2.5 hours.
One of the guys had
Actually-
weed pants on. Did you guys notice that? I think one guy had the guy that was chopping wood in the beginning.
Yeah. The
Pretty
weed
sure he had
pants
weed.
on?
Pretty sure he had weed leaves on his pants.
Oh, that's cool.
Hey, let's do a little sidebar combo real quick. I want to talk
SPC?
about this. Does anybody think that the first like 85% of Gangs of New York is amazing, and the last like 15 is kind of a dud? Kind of just ends. Kind of sucks.
I feel like it starts hard.
Starts.
It's
I
the
like
first
the
like
end.
85% of it's amazing.
So where do you think it starts to fall off? When he gets off the
When-
boat?
No, when right before they're about to have the fight. Like I feel like from the fight to the end when he challenges Bill to the fight, from there on out it's kind of like not that cool. And the way it ends is like it's nothing that nothing that crazy. He just kind of stabs him, he dies. It was just I always thought about that. I was like, man, all this movie has been so epic this whole time, and then this is how it ends. Great movie
Yeah.
though. I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis
know.
is one of the best
Well, 'cause
performances in the history of film.
Isn't like someone attacking with cannons and shit too?
Yeah, it's a whole big war scene.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this movie in a
Because
while.
they're
I
about
remember
to
it,
battle,
but-
and then someone starts.
We
shooting
got to do a
cannons.
Scorsese. I've been thinking about that. What Scorsese are we gonna do?
I probably haven't seen All Scorsese's.
There's got to be some.
You know what I haven't seen ever? Goodfellas.
What?
Yeah, I've never seen
Really?
it. Yeah, true fact.
Nice.
Wow. All right. Well, we're
Sounds-
that's definitely my next pick.
Sounds like Goodfellas. It is.
I'm just
fuck.
kidding.
That's wild.
Oh, man.
I'm just kidding.
I
I'm
was
pretty sure I've
excited.
watched it with you, Schwartz, many
Maybe.
times.
That's like your face-off trick.
Yeah, I thought
Like,
that
oh,
was.
I've never.
I thought that was
I've
just gonna
never
be an
seen that.
obvious joke, but guess not.
Well, so you've surprised me before. Like you never saw any Wes Anderson movies, and that shit was kind of
Yeah, but
kinda
who
wild.
gives a
I
shit
mean,
about
yeah,
Wes Anderson? You never saw any Indiana Jones movies. Schwartz never watched
saw
Back to
some.
the
I saw-
Future.
I saw some of them. I saw the first two Indiana Joneses.
So this movie, I kind of felt like Back to the Future, like you felt with Back to the Future. I feel like I don't need to watch this whole movie. I could have just
Watch the montage.
I could have just watched a montage of the movie. I could have just because there's really only a few parts that are worth, there's just that's why I said anticlimactic, because there's really no I guess the whole movie's a build up until the end, but it's a slow burn to not a very great payoff. And maybe that's the point, but Jesus, it was
The
boring.
only really badass scene is the rain
Shakespeare,
fight.
baby.
It's the rain fight. The rain fight's badass. But besides for that, there's nothing epic about this movie in any
Yeah.
way.
What was the rain fight your favorite scene?
It probably was, because it's the only time everything ever fucking happened. I was just like, all right, cool, something's going on.
I liked when Kika Chico, whatever his name is, had all the swords.
Listen,
and
I
when
get it.
People were coming through.
I get it. I get it. It's a great movie.
Exactly.
I get it.
Exactly. I get it. I get it. I didn't need to see the whole movie. I probably just could have watched Cliff Notes. I probably could have told you what the movie was about before I even saw it. And I don't think I need to watch it again. But great movie. Great kisser.
Dun, 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 dun. Where do you rank it then? Dun, dun, dun.
The old rank, huh?
It's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Sure does. It's one of those, man. It's one of those classics. It's Cool Hand Luke.
8.6
It's the Japanese Cool Hand
on
Luke.
IMDb. It was that there was a few times where I was watching the action of just the people, the dudes kind of just in the, like when they're just kind of hanging out. I was like, this is Cool Hand Luke all the way. This is Cool Hand Luke boring. Like, that's what this is. CHLB, bro.
Quinn Luke was the worst movie ever.
Jesus. Schwartz, you put it at 20? What's going on with the list here?
I'm gonna put it at
Trying to pull up the list. I can't find it on the internet.
The interwebs, go to www.makemewatchmovielist.com. Bitch.
Is it that easy?
No, I don't think that. You can't do that. I don't know what I don't even remember what I just said. I'm just kind of talking. You put it at 20, Schwartz?
20. I didn't do that with 20.
What's at 20 there?
I don't know. Did you guys write the last movie? What was the last movie?
What was the last movie?
Last movie was Paths of Glory.
That's right.
Yeah, I think that's Paths of Glory.
PAG.
Somebody write that there for me.
POG. POG. You write it. All right, POG. I don't know.
All right.
Jake, did you bring your list up?
No, I can't find the link for whatever reason.
The link.
Yeah, I had it saved in my my email. For some reason, I can't.
Stand
All right,
by.
I'm going 25.
Stand by.
I'm going 25.
So,
Stand
25.
by. Here it
25.
is.
oh, there it is. All right.
Schwartz is going number 25.
Schwartz is going number 25. What's that around?
That's right above the host,
The Host.
right below Border.
So you think
Right
Border
below
was a better movie?
Border is better than this.
I think
Border's
I would
better?
watch Border again before this movie because of the runtime. This runtime is too long.
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big reason. It's
is.
not only a long run time, you got to read. And I know that's it's not hard to read, but for 3.5 hours of subtitles, you need the intermission. And yeah, there is no and. Yeah, just that is the end. It's long, and you got to be reading the whole time. You really got to be paying attention. Is that a bad thing? I don't know.
I think I liked it. I'm gonna put it. I like subtitles. I'm gonna put it.
It's not that I don't like subtitles. It's just an extra task to be done.
I feel you.
While enduring a fucking 14-hour movie. Go ahead.
I'm gonna put it at number 19. 19 for me, right under Goonies. Right under the Goonies, because they're very similar
Forgot
movies.
we watched the Goonies.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put it above like Blood Simple. I think this was just like a little better told story. I just, it's just a classic fucking movie. And I'm actually also gonna bump up 13 Assassins because this movie made me appreciate 13 Assassins more. I'm gonna put 13 Assassins up under Paths of Glory above
Police Story, huh?
above Police Story. Because I
I'm
did
surprised
rewatch
you
that
had-
movie not too long ago, and I don't know why I put it so low.
I'm
I
surprised you
like
had
that
Police
as well.
Story above it in the first place.
Yeah. No
Okay.
longer.
Paths of Glory bumped up to number 24 for Jake. Let's look at my list. So far, my list is basically perfect. I'm gonna make this easy on me, and I'm gonna just go right at 21, right
Okay.
below Mank.
See it.
Mm,
Right in half. Yeah, this was our
no,
50th movie, huh?
I'm dropping it. I'm dropping it to
dropping
20.
it?
I'm dropping it to 28.
Okay.
I'm
Right
dropping
above
it
Paths
to
of Glory.
28.
All right.
Oh fuck. Ugh. All right. 29. 29. It is taking the play. It is going right above MacGruber.
MacGruber is your fucking bar, huh? That's your
movie-
measuring fucking tape
This
right there, huh?
movie is better than MacGruber. We can all agree.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes, it is.
Good.
Would Davidson say otherwise? I don't know.
I don't know.
I think Davidson
we
would
call
maybe
him?
say this was better. I don't know. We could.
No.
And because we decided at Paths of Glory, Davidson would have still liked MacGruber more.
Is there a reason?
I think he may have. Yeah, I think he may have liked the Seven Assassins or Seven Samurai more than MacGruber. Just a hunch.
We'll never know
We'll never know.
because he's dead.
Wow.
Just kidding.
And you could have.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Davidson. Alive and available for work.
Alive and well.
Probably.
Hire that man.
Hire that
And
man. Hire
single,
him right away.
Maybe.
Call me
Ladies.
and single. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in the past couple days.
I don't
Maybe
know.
he's got himself a
And by the
nice
time
little
we
lass.
release this, who knows? He got a turn. He may not be single.
So much to think about.
I know.
Anyway.
What would Davidson do?
Any
WWDD.
get that Instagram.
Right.
Any last remarks regarding this ridiculously long movie?
Hey man, I'm glad we watched it though, because I feel like I may have never have gotten around to it since it's such an intimidating length of 3.5 hours. Like it would have kept me from watching the shit, and I'm glad I watched it. So glad we did it. I'm glad we talked about it. We got through it.
You know how like we work on shows where we get to travel,
Yeah.
and it's like, you go to fucking Savannah, Georgia,
Sure.
and you're like, I'm glad that work took me here because I would never fucking come here on my own, or somewhere in Florida. Let's make it somewhere in Florida. I would never come here on my own. But the fact that work took me here, it made me experience it. I'm glad I experienced it. I never want to do it again, but I'm glad it happened. That's this
Fair
movie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I certainly felt like when it was over, I'm like, wow, that was a lot. So a lot was a good word for you. I felt that vibe for sure. I
wanna
felt
watch
like
Gangs in
I
New
just
York.
went through something.
I'm also glad we watched this movie. I think in the scheme of things, seeing this movie is a smart thing to do as someone who's a film person. It's something you should watch at least once. Will I ever watch it again from start to finish? Absolutely not. But I mean,
I rewatched it today.
Oof, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Cool. But
no, it's a great movie.
There's plenty in this movie to reference. There's plenty in this movie to behold. But the movie as a whole is a lot.
Yes.
But that's not to say, like Schwartz was saying, it is important. This is a very important movie to see. This director is a very important director to be exposed to, which I now am. Not that I wasn't exposed to him before. I knew of his composition and camera work based on just, talking to
Steven
you guys.
Spielberg movies.
But yes, I got full exposure, like full frontal on him, and I'm happy.
Good. Because we almost did Yojimbo, which is another classic of his, but I did see that in film school, so I already had like a take on that. So I'm glad I switched it to Seven Samurai, because like I said, we probably never would have watched this. So
is Yojimbo a better movie, in your opinion, or like more entertaining, or what is it?
I think it's a little like faster paced. Like it almost feels like more of like a superhero kind of movie where like it's just this follows one guy who is the same guy who plays
a superhero movie.
Not a superhero movie, but like the fact like he's almost like I don't know, like a renegade kind of, like he's like the hero, more of a hero kind of character. But it plays by the same guy that played Kiki Chiyo in this movie. He's the main character of Yojimbo. He is Yojimbo. He's the title character, and it's only a little less than 2 hours, so it's a very easily a little more easy to consume that way. But it's good. It's another classic of his. Like it's definitely worth watching.
Damn. So we should have.
I like samurai movies. Yeah, maybe. But no, I think I'm happy that we did Seven Samurai. But I would recommend also watching Yojimbo.
So that's not a samurai movie. So I thought
Yojimbo is a samurai movie.
Oh, it is a samurai movie.
It is, yeah. It was made a couple years after this. It was 50. I think it's 61 is Yojimbo.
How many samurai movies were made before this movie?
I'm not sure on that. But this, like, it was an era where they started becoming popular.
We already discussed this?
No, it's not even. It's like
$3.50.
It's his second samurai movie. It's from what I could tell, but it might. But that could be very wrong.
And is he mostly known for samurai movies?
Mostly, but he's done other work. But the second half of his career looks pretty much like full of samurai movies.
And he is dead.
Kurosawa, I believe so.
Yeah, he died in the 90s.
Copy you. I think we got all our facts straight.
Yep.
Yeah, watch this movie.
Died in 1998 to a ripe age of 88.
Never watch it again.
1998. Did he ever win any awards?
He won an honorary Oscar.
For what?
like
Best
just like a
guy
lifetime
ever.
achievement award,
Best
Best
guy
like a
guy.
ever.
lifetime
Fives.
achievement award type
Best
thing.
kisser.
Softest kisser.
George Lucas just goes, "I've admired you since I was a wee lad, and you're a great kisser. Thank you, Akira. Please accept this
Since
Academy
our
Award."
first kiss. No, I mean, I would say watch it again if you want to. Like, it's sometimes I like watching, and we've talked about this before, watching
Watch it
subtitled
again?
films because you get more out of like a second experience because you
Yeah.
might be kind of reading more than you're watching, and then you
You're
can
not wrong.
watch more than you're reading on the second. But
You're
you know.
not wrong, but
Like
fuck,
I,
man.
I know I definitely liked 13 Assassins more the second time I saw it. Like I was not super into it the first time I saw 13 Assassins. Every time I've watched it since, I watched it twice since my first watch, so 3 times, and I watch it. I mean, every time I watched it, it got better to me.
I liked 13 Assassins better the first time than I think I will like this movie a second time.
You probably. It's a lot more exciting, especially the second half of 13 Assassins.
Yeah, 13 Assassins it's just
Goddamn.
more let's be honest, it's just more modern.
Yeah, it is.
It's just more modern. It's an old movie. This is a fucking old movie. It's a 300-year-old
Yeah.
movie.
Like I highly recommend Takashi's other samurai films too, because he did Blade of the Immortal was another one I was going to say earlier. Was it's super fucking violent, super gory, really like
Sounds
kind
like
of
my mom would not approve.
No, probably not. But
Sounds
it's
like a
it's
band
more
my mom would not.
it's more on the humorous side of a samurai film, which is fun. But and that was another thing about Seven Samurai. Like it was funny at moments. Like that character was like Kikichiya was a funny character. Like there was a lot of
Well,
humor.
that's where
More humor to this movie than I expected, at least.
I think that's where I think Spielberg is in there too, because I feel like the framing of this movie, the camera movement, and even like the serious subject, but having humor and almost like childish qualities is very Spielbergian. I think he got it from this, a lot of it from this kind of movie.
Mm-hmm. And Lucas.
Oh yeah.
Jorge Lucas.
Yeah,
It's just
but
C-3PO.
Spielberg, let's face it, George Lucas isn't half the filmmaker Spielberg is, so let's not put him in that category.
They're like besties, though.
Yeah, but one's a director, one's a guy who invents things.
He's more of an ideas guy, George.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, watch Seven Samurai. It's a great movie. Definitely watch it. It's classic.
Word.
Classic movie.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, if you have the time, it's a long movie. It's a long one.
I like samurai movies, and this is a good one. Do it.
Well, you heard him, folks. Jake said do it, and he's a wrestling fan, so if you don't want a pile driver or the devil's lettuce or whatever his finishing move is, I do what he says. Thanks for listening to another episode of Making Me Watch Movies, episode 49. Next week's episode is a zinger. Is it? Yep. We are doing a series of movies, a trilogy, if you will, one that I'd never seen before, and that everyone tells me that I need to see. Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather trilogy. That's right. I haven't seen them. I'm gonna sit through them. I actually already did. I'm recording this in the future. But if you haven't watched The Godfather trilogy, watch them and then listen to us next week. Episode 50. Support your local podcast. Check us out on Instagram, Making Me Watch Movies, MMwM_podcast. Check out Jake's Instagram. He's got like 6 of them. Some of them are about wrestling. Some of them are about the Grateful Dead. Some of them are about beans. Making Me Watch Movies. Wednesdays.